suggested videos, and this is the first. This is going to be a video, obviously, 5 fragrances that I would rebuy if house caught fire. Throw the dogs out the window, let the fragrances burn. Priorities, right? Which ones that I would buy? 5. And we're also going to talk about 5 that I would not. Nope. Now, this might surprise some people, but I would say over 90% of my fragrances I wouldn't rebuy. They don't work for me. I don't wear them that often. A couple of different reasons, but these 5, if they suddenly fell out of my collection instantly, don't get mad. Just go buy it, even at full price, I swear. But it's not that these fragrances are the best fragrances that I have ever smelled in my entire life. This is a list of fragrances that just work for me, and the occasions, and the job, and the skin chemistry. Perfect. So let's just go number 1. And number 1 is going to be from the house of Versace. This is Eros Flame. And I love this bottle, man. I love this bottle. I love the tracing. All those lines, the Versace head. And I love this fragrance. This builds upon that rich Versace Eros chemistry, but in the opening notes, it has a bitter fruit called Chinoto, and in the mids and the base, it's a little bit more masculine, in my opinion, than the original Eros. The bitterness of the fruit in the opener just, to me, makes it a little more masculine, but still a very energizing fragrance. And this fragrance, I use this fragrance for my performances, unless it is dead in the middle of winter and absolutely freezing. I'm going to be using Eros Flame, and favorite perfumer also created this as well, Olivia Pechot. So, number 1, Eros Flame. Again, this is not a video of the greatest fragrances ever made. It's not. Probably most of these will not make that, but this is a video of fragrances that are so good for me. I can't live without them. Next, we have from the house of Lattafa, a frequent flyer on this channel. We have Khamrah's Qahwa. Now this is going to be on this list. 1, because Angel Share is not, and I have to have some rich boozy gourmand. But this instills a bit of a coffee note and a luxury, spicy booziness. Sweet. I think if this was in a Tom Ford bottle or a Killian bottle, this would go for $300. assessing whether I would repurchase fragrances is the price. Because fragrances that are going to be $200 plus, I'm going to judge them a lot harsher than fragrances like this that are $30. So, for my rich and spicy fragrance, it is a no-brainer. Next, I'm going to take a trip in that same vein, and from the House of Victor and Rolf, we have Spicebomb Extreme, and this is the only spice bomb that I would repurchase. When you spray this on, especially compared to something like Angel Share, it seems to not perform well. But when you spray it on skin, give it about 20 minutes, this thing lasts long, projects well, and is an amazing vanilla type spice fragrance. Now, my uses for this is my date night fragrance. This is my date night fragrance, and I utilize it heavily in the fall, the winter, and I really enjoy it. It's a $70 fragrance. It took me way too long to buy, and I'm a big fan. Next, from the House of Perfumes de Marly, this is Galloway, named after the horse Galloway, and this fragrance I think is incredibly underrated, underappreciated. Parfums de Marly scent, and what this fragrance is a sweeter version, in my opinion, of Green Irish Tweed. A lot of similarities. The dry down is where it takes off and goes its own way. For instance, Green Irish Tweed dries down very spicy. And this stays very sweet. It's funny because this fragrance, this cap, weighs more than the bottle. It always throws me off. And this is definitely unisex, but some would say it leans a little more feminine, and I don't disagree, but it's masculine enough for me to feel comfortable wearing it. And I like unisex, but I don't wear perfumes, so it's good enough for me. And this is the most expensive one at like $125, I think. So it's really, really good. Really, really good. And it is a cologne, though. It is a cologne of Lalique White. So it is a cologne, but it's one of those fragrances that did it better, I guess. If you're gonna clone it, do it better. Make people forget about the originals. Next and last, we have from the House of Boss Bottled Elixir. Well, Boss, this is Bottled Elixir Triumph. And I could have gone with the other one. I could have gone with Boss Bottled Elixir. But I think this is a better version, and this is a slept-on version. This has that same DNA, but it has some molybdenum in it, and some sweetness. It is a more mass-appealing fragrance. That the top is sweeter, but the mids and the base are very similar to Boss Bottled Elixir. I honestly cannot see my collection I've heard this described as similar to Ani. I don't get that. I don't get that. But what it is a beautiful, masculine, fruity top note, incense, patchouli, leather-esque base. Incredible for fall and winter and early spring, and possibly because of those fruity notes, maybe even some of the warmer months. I probably wouldn't do it in the warmer months, but right off the top, I mentioned this the first time that I ever tried this fragrance, but to me, I used to vape when I was a younger man. Try to help me with anxiety, and it didn't contain anything. It was just kind of a habitual thing that I used to do. When I say anything, I mean nicotine. No nicotine or anything. It was just for the flavor, and my favorite flavor was called the Purple Pixie, I think. And it was a purple pixie stick, and to me, this smells so much like it off the top. Dried down is totally different, but an incredible fragrance. And truly, if any of these 5 were gone from my collection, man, full price, I don't care. I gotta get them. I gotta get them back, because these are those kind of like fragrances that in your mind, you're going out somewhere immediately. Oh, I gotta wear Boss Bottle Elixir, you know. Oh, I'm gonna go perform. Versace's Eros Flame. I got a date. Qahwa or Spicebomb. You know. These are fragrances that I know. I gotta have in my collection for very specific reasons. Okay. Next 5 fragrances that I'm not gonna rebuy. I don't care about purchasing these guys again, and a couple different reasons why. Number 1 is because maybe I don't wear them. Number 2, because there are clones that are better, or I like better. Maybe because the performance sucks. I don't know. I'll tell you as I show you. Number 1, the King of the Swing from the house of Christian Dior. This is Sauvage. Sausage, but take out the S and put in a V. I don't know if y'all can see that. Can you see that? Can you see where those juice levels are? This is about almost half empty, and for me, that is a cataclysmic feat. Got this magnetic cap, which I'm an absolute sucker for. This is what it. And one thing that I don't like about this bottle is it flakes. It flakes. I've only had this for a couple of years. You can see there. I don't know, maybe you can't, but it's already like coming off. And of course it doesn't help when I'm tapping on it. But I do this with a lot of other bottles and they don't have problems on it. But this was my daily driver for a good period of time. And this is just your freshy, aquatic, masculine, mass appealing fragrance. This was a fragrance I wore in grad school, and this is kind of my signature scent before I really Not a useless fragrance, but for me, I'm just not interested in it. It's not that it's too expensive, it's not that I want, it's not that I'm wearing another clone of it. It's that it's not complex. It's very average as far as its recipe is concerned. And everyone wears it. Dude, this is going to confuse some individuals that have been with me for a while. This is from Tom Ford, Tobacco Vanille. Oh, so good. So good. So, why? Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. Well, number one, have you seen the price on this thing? $200-$300 just for the tiny one. And back when Tobacco Vanille came out, I don't think there were as many. Now bear in mind, Tom Ford has been making fragrances over less than 20 years. So it's not like it was forever ago, but Tobacco Vanille. When Tobacco Vanille came out, not every fragrance was using vanilla, so it's very special. With that tobacco note, it was just perfect. Fast forward to today. Not only are there incredible clones of this fragrance that can match its projection, but vanilla's in everything now. Every fragrance coming out, you have a 30% chance there's a strong vanilla in it. It means this fragrance is not nearly as impressive as it once was. Now, I love this fragrance, but this is one of those times where the price becomes a factor. And to me, this, in this day and age, is not worth $300. Number three is a fragrance that was deeply disappointed with. I went to an Ulta about a year and a half ago, and at the time I was dating a doctor. Don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. Dentists and doctors, don't do it. Not worth it. And she did not like any fragrances, like at all, and I was bound and determined to find one that she did. And I finally found one, just like one of two. And this is it, from YSL L'homme. This is L'homme Eau de Parfum. Gorgeous color. And I got this fragrance. This is a $100 fragrance. Cheapest I got it for was like $90 for the small one. And that was when I found out that YSL L'homme fragrances don't perform great. Now, just to try it out and to see how this fragrance might have shifted, changed, I tried it out last week. And I will tell you, without a doubt in my mind, that it has gotten a lot better. But even though it is performing a lot better, it was an opportunity for me to really observe the fragrance and ultimately decided that there's not a whole lot unique or special about this fragrance. It's a little bland. rich gourmand type fragrance, and it's just not. It's relatively ordinary and average. No. Over $800 fragrance. That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. So I say definitely not gonna rebuy that. And all of those Eros that come in bottles like this, maybe with the exception of Blue Electric, I probably wouldn't buy. I just don't like them that much now. Next, from the House of Chanel, this was a fragrance I knew I wanted to add into my collection. I went to Ulta, I sprayed it. I thought it was great. I got it, and have been disappointed ever since. This is Bleu De Chanel EDP. Chanel purposefully makes very few of these to be able to charge a premium for supply and demand. And to be quite honest with you, it just does not perform well. This is one of the worst performing fragrances on me. It does have that magnetic cap, which I love. I don't know why I love those so much, I just do. But this particular fragrance, you spray it on, within 10 minutes it's gone. And I let kind of the stardom of this fragrance color my opinion, make me excited about this fragrance too. Excited. I hate pink pepper. I think it's the worst note in the world. And this is a pink pepper bomb off the top. But the mids and the base, you don't get a lot of it. Basically what I'm saying is, not only did this fragrance not perform well or project, it's way overpriced. And it's a note breakdown that I really don't like. But I bought into it. I bought into the hype. Bleu De Chanel. All these people, celebrities wear it. Fragrance influencers push it. So I bought it. And I would never buy it again. And that's that. The last fragrance that I would never buy again. From the house of Perfumes de Marly, this is Layton. This is an interesting one because when I did my video of trying to spot the real Layton in a bunch of clones, I actually didn't even like Layton compared to the clones. I think that Layton underperforms compared to the clones, and when those clones came out, they were very expensive, and now they're not, and that's why I would not repurchase Layton. Now this is a 4.2 ounce. I'll never have to repurchase Layton as long as I don't lose it in like a tornado or something. But this is tons and tons of notes, 25 plus notes. Musky, fruity, you get it all in here. And it's an incredible fragrance. But the clones do it better. They do it better, in my opinion. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Sometimes clones perform just as good. Sometimes the clones are absolutely awful. And sometimes clones are better. And in this case, the clones are better. For Layton. So, this was in no particular order, but these are just honestly very expensive fragrances. The cheapest one being probably Sauvage, and that's still $60, $70 fragrance on the discounters. So, variety of different reasons, but the truth of the matter is, over 90% probably never